Today Roach and I are going to be going over how to condition a marker. A marker is any sound or cue that the dog understands means a reward is coming and they've done something right. And we condition it outside of a training session because we want to get quite a few reps in to teach the dog very clearly that it means if you're done, you can finish whatever you're doing. So if the dog is laying down or sitting, they can stop doing that and come to you for a reward. In this case, what we're teaching is called a terminal marker. It means it ends the behavior that the dog was doing. We'll go into that a little bit more later. Don't need to get too technical today. All we're going to be doing for now is grabbing a handful of our dog's food. I'm just using Roach's kibble here. It's really ideal if your dog can work for kibble because we are going to be using a lot of treats right now. If not, if your dog's not hungry enough to work for one training session, ideally, I would say skip the meal, wait until next meal. But if you get to a day or two where they're not eating, give me a call, we can talk through it. We can always figure out another way to work around it or use a different reward if your dog doesn't have a super sensitive stomach. But all we're gonna do to start, I've got a handful of food primed and ready to go. Now I do. And I've got my dog on a leash. I'm not forcing him to pay attention to me. He can be kind of checked out. In fact, that's actually ideal if he's not like laser focused on me. But I'm going to stand still. Dogs watch our body language before they listen to what we're saying, which is the opposite of humans. We listen to words and verbal cues and sounds before body language. So the standing still before you use your marker right now, just in these next couple sessions, is super important. We're gonna stand still, mark, and then immediately feed. If our dog doesn't look at us when they hear the marker, that's totally fine. We're gonna put the food in front of their face anyway. We're not gonna let them get food off the floor. That's not ideal. The first time they don't take food, if I were to give him food and he's like, no, I don't want it, end the session, that's done. And this session only needs to be about 2 or 3 minutes at most. Keep it super short. You can do 3 a day. You might only need to do this for 2 days. We're gonna stand still, mark, feed. And you can move after you mark. So what we can start doing after we've got a couple repetitions of feed is we're gonna stand still, mark, and then take a step back to teach our dogs, once they hear that marker, follow us for a reward. Now, if you're not using a clicker, that's totally fine. I love clickers because they make a very consistent sound, especially for dogs who might have trouble zoning out and getting overstimulated with lots of different sounds, or with households where we've got multiple different people training. But if you're gonna use something like yes, or okay, or free, it's the same exact thing. Stand still, free, and then move, feed a little bit. And we're not gonna punish or correct the dog for trying to get food off the ground. That's our fault. Just don't let them get it. Clean it up later. Don't worry about it right now. Keep this session moving. If you can. I mean, do what you gotta do. Free. Nice. Do as I say, not as I do. Free. And we want the dog pretty enthusiastically working with us. Roach knows free means he can go get food off the ground. Again, do as I say, not as I do. I train him a little bit differently because he's a sport dog and I have different expectations for different words. But again, mark, food, it's that simple. Once you mark and your dog's like, whoa, food's coming, that's how you know they actually understand it. Get another session or 2 in, that's all you need to do, and then we can move on and actually use our marker in the training session. This is super simple, don't overthink it. Just super important that you get a couple sessions in, stand still, mark, food, get some movement after you mark, teach your dog to follow you for food. That'll help you out a lot later. But other than that, it is super simple stuff. But this is what I start before I do any kind of training with any dog. It's very important that we as humans have a way to say, yes, you did something right, because Roach does not speak English, and if we don't have a way to tell him we like what you're doing, it's not fair to be able to say we don't like what you're doing.